Good evening everyone and welcome to Kent. This is where we are tonight, currently based not too far away if you live in the centre of the country. Down south we have this wonderful facility that is known as Brands Hatch. Track that's been around for God knows how many decades, looking at about 60 in terms of the years, but in any case a wonderful venue for this championship. And here we are for round 2 tonight of the Mégane Trophy Lobby 1 for what will no doubt be an interesting race around the GP circuit, a track that we don't use too often within the Power Match Championship as Dominator goes into the wall, just coming out of Surtees there. We'll just skip over to Janio, who's there. But in any case, a wonderful circuit that's hosted incredible racing over the years. Obviously it's hosted the European Grand Prix within Formula 1 over a number of alternate years with Silverstone. Additionally as well, it's hosted the GT World Challenge in Europe. Even DTM visited the GP circuit a few years ago, which was a spectacular event. And of course the GP circuit usually hosts the finale of the British Touring Car Championship every year, so certainly no stranger to wonderful racing and a whole set of different categories. And this is no different from tonight, to link in with all of that as well with the Renault Méganes. We haven't been here for a number of seasons now. Last time we came here was in the second season of the championship, and back then it was, let's see where he is he in the lobby? I'm sure he is somewhere. There he is. NXTGEN Hirakram, he took race victory that day in season 2. He had a good race out there. He came quite a fair margin away from the back of the field. I know he had a few issues during qualifying. He managed to get himself out, he managed to pull his way through the field. He won the race ahead of Burnt Fry and Ruddo 24 on that occasion. So quite some time ago since we last went around there. Let's just have a look at the quick comments that are going on. First time for Gib at the GP loop. Ruddo saying hello, and Rudley is also saying buenos dias. So good to see you guys all in the chat. But yeah, what a circuit we're at tonight. Really good to watch, and one of my personal favourites in Britain in any case, second only to of course Alton Park, but I am slightly biased in that respect, not too far away. But we are here for round 2, and this is where the drivers are starting to get a good feel for how everyone else is competing. We know that of course Hirakram won both rounds last week. He had a fantastic set of races there. He was almost unstoppable at times. But tonight, he's around this GP loop, and just because he's won before doesn't mean he's consistently won around this circuit before, especially in the Méganes, with the breadth of talent that is within this lobby. So let's just look at the drivers' standings from last week, just to give you an idea at how the championship forms after the opening 2 races. Hirakram, of course, leads the way on 45 points. He took a clean sweep last week with 2 race wins, pole position and fastest lap across both races, so fantastic for him. Ruddo is second, joint second with Bruce Lee Harding in, well, second place retired in any case, but Ruddo is currently second on the table due to him getting up first podium ahead of Bruce Lee. P. Gibbs fourth, first time around this circuit for P. Gibbs, so it'd be interesting to see how he gets on around this circuit, but he's on 27 points in the championship. Matty Rudd's fifth on 26. He had a really good race, did Matty Rudd last week. He finished third in the first event, which is great for him. Second race he was unfortunate not to get another podium, but just a couple of penalties tripped him up in the end, so expect to see him in the mix in that regard. 6th in the championship, Martin JL09. I know Martin is having a few issues at the moment. Here he is in that striking yellow and red Teng Tools liveried car. He's just having a few issues with this track, can't find the consistency, but it'll come good for Martin. He just needs to keep practicing and keep it out of the wall, which he's just about done going through the Hawthorns there, just going around the corner. Dominator is in 7th in the championship. We were just following him round before. There he is in the Miltech car. 4 minutes before we start the qualifying, of course, so Gibb just telling everybody in that one. Duskiver is level with him on points as well on 19, so just Dominator and Discover, there they are, 7th and 8th. KZ2 Haas is 9th on 16 points. Jainho is 10th. He had a few issues last week getting into the lobby, so he's been credited with a notional score, which is understandable for him. But he sits 10th in the fast car. Vortex Racing has just joined us, formerly went by the name of Burnt Fry, who I mentioned. He's got form around this circuit. So those are the 10 that have officially scored. In any case, we're still waiting for appearances from Alan 1, D Hartley, who unfortunately can't make it in tonight's race, and Vortex Racing 77, who has just joined, so it's good to have him with us. Martin just saying there, can't drive this Mégane anywhere. Well, that might be the issue there in terms of adjusting to the wheel. I know you're on the Fanatec, however you wish to pronounce it. I'm not quite certain, no one's corrected me yet, but we'll take some time to get used to. Gibbs just saying needs a trip to Knockhill. And Ruddo's put his qualification predictions in the chat there. He said Hirakram, Gibbo and Jainho. Jainho has some form. He's been proving season upon season. Really has been impressive as Jainho since he first joined in season 2 in that respect. He has been really impressive in terms of his form. In his first season, he only had a podium throughout. Season 3, then he had a race win and a couple of podiums to add on to that. So really, really good for him. And then last season, he was really on it. 9 podiums out of a possible 20. So Jainho certainly improving season upon season. So let's see how the number 7 gets on around this track. Let's just see as well if Vortex Racing is out on circuit. He's not just yet. Also the return of JPH99 tonight as well. A Lobby 1 stalwart is Jordan. He's certainly been around for a long time. I can't recall if Jordan has ever scored a race victory in this series. I don't believe he has. But not to end on that point, I know he is a very good driver, very fair in his respect. So for those that haven't watched him before, you're going to have be in for a bit of a treat tonight. See how he gets on during the races. But only a few minutes now before we crack on with the race itself. Just having a quick scan through the lobby chat just to see how everyone's getting on. People are quite excited. So in terms of, just to reply back to Toxic Gaming _094. In terms of the cars we're expecting, I'd say what we've got in right now is probably going to be our maximum at 11. There is obviously a second lobby that runs in the Méganes. It's not just lobby 1, it's also lobby 2. So they'll be racing round at the moment in their practice session, and they'll be due to start any minute now, just like we are. Jordan just saying no race victory for me in this series. It'll come one day. I know you've had a few podiums, Jordan. I have seen them in the past. Hopefully you can add to that at some point during the season ahead. Toxic Gaming, you can do, it's not live streamed lobby 2. That is post live commentary replay from Jordan, JPH99 on that one. You can watch that on his Twitch, and that gets uploaded onto YouTube as well. A couple of people just saying hello. So Vortex Racing, that's Burnt Fry as we know him in Next Gen in any case, but Vortex just saying hello as well. So timer should be ticking over to 8 o'clock, which it has done officially, so we should be getting ready to crack on with qualifying, which is going to be an interesting prospect. You know, Hirakram currently fastest lap of the session, only man currently in the 24s as Bruce Lee goes quite the way off circuit coming out of turn 2, coming out of Druids there. Got to be careful on that one. So there we go, Gibb doing the reset now. Let's see how the drivers get on. So Gibb firstly changes the damage settings. Martin's going to drive out and then reset. There we go. So 10 minutes of qualifying is now underway as the game decides to load itself in. And the first driver out, that looks like it's Matty Rudd. It's the first driver out in the ITG topped car. It's obviously got the Zerko tech along the side. So Matty Rudd will be the first driver to set a lap. So Matty Rudd just coming out of the pits there. Vortex Racing, first time we've seen him in this championship this season, in 93 with the motor drive on the side. Nice livery that one, orange and white with a little splash of black where the Power Maxed Racing livery goes. Dominator saying he's got a pit glitch, so hopefully that can sort itself out. Bruce Lee just following there. Martin JL09, hopefully he'll be able to just put some laps together. That's really realistically what he needs. Alan has joined the room. It's a little bit late, so hopefully he'll be able to get in for the second race. He should be able to get in, which should be beneficial for him, as we just watched Martin JL09 just come through Hawthorns and then down towards Wakefield. P. Gibbs just saying exit and come back in to everyone. So Gino just going round. There's KZ2 Hash just running up towards Sheen Curve. Someone's just run a little bit wide then, actually, coming out of the car. It's Bruce Lee. Hirakram just giving some advice to the fellow drivers in the championship there. So a nice bit of tip from the four-time champion. There's Bruce Lee just coming round. So the driver's coming on to start the laps. Who should we have a ride on board with? Well, it's the Power Max driver back in the lobby. So let's go on board then with JPH99 as he comes towards turn 1 Paddock Hill bend for the first time. Up towards turn 1 then in 5th gear, 135 mile an hour, brakes just after the meter board on the left hand side, down to 4th gear and then through Paddock Hill. Nicely done so far. P. Gibbs just saying a few comments in the side there, just got to keep an eye on that, as JPH was nice and clean through turn 2 and then clips over through Grey Mill Bend. So I think we're going to have a restart. I think that's what's going to go on here. I think with the pit glitch, this would also give an Alan a chance to come back in. So there you go, that's exactly what has happened, and in fact it's completely kicked us out of the room. So not ideal from P. Gibb there. P. Gibb just saying words that I don't repeat on my stream. So we'll wait for Gibb just to get things sorted, the lobby host. But it's going to be interesting, you know. Hirakram already with that lead in the championship. That's his mindset already. Will be focused on trying to extend that. Ruddo will have to try and bounce back now to see whether he can maybe get a race win tonight, try and benefit from a potential reverse grid race. Oh, Alan would have been in for quali, that's true. Yeah, Martin just saying he got halfway round, didn't make a mistake, and then it got reset. It's always the way, Martin. It's always the way, unfortunately. But yeah, it's going to be interesting that the two favourites heading into this season of Hirakram and Ruddo, they were separated only by a few points at the end of last season at the Red Bull Ring. They were so close. It's going to be interesting. Jordan's asking, can I get my 1 minute 30 of fame again? Yes, you can. I'm happy to go on board with Jordan when he goes on his qualifying run. So Gibbs got the lobby back open. Just a few comments there as we just wait for the Gran Turismo lobby to load up. Don't worry, you can't get that livery anywhere. it's not particularly the same as the ones that Jordan runs in this championship, the liveries that he's designed, which are absolutely fantastic. My one a little bit less official in that respect. So let's get back into the spectating now. I believe everyone has joined in, so just having a quick scan. Yep, so 12 drivers in. Ricky J 11800 has joined as well, so not sure if the settings are where they need to be. Dominator's gone out on circuit. Not sure who Ricky J 100 is, no idea. Maybe Gibbo will be able to comment to say whether he's a late entry for this season. If he is, fantastic to have him in. If he's not, then it's down to Gibbo. Now Ricky J has now left the room, so maybe not. So now that practice has been and gone, qualifying underway. So we're just watching as everybody goes through. Gibbs just saying he's been kicked. Oh, Dominator runs out of road, coming out of Sheen Curve. So we're is everybody on track. There's Matty Rudd just coming through Sheen Curve. So Dominator got out very early, trying to get as much track time in as he can. So Gibb is now resetting the lobby again for those. So everyone exits pits, check glitch. Okay. So Jordan just giving a bit of a hand to P Gibb there. In the comments as Dominator pushing the limit. The Lobby 2 champion from last season, of course. In that grey and red Miltech car as the lobby resets for the first time, and then it'll begin again on the second. So we'll just wait for the tick over. There we go. So now qualifying underway as we see the rest of the world from Gran Turismo's perspective, and it's going to be this time around Bruce Lee, the first one out on track in that Kappa livery. Martin saying those are his best laps. Ruddy saying it's kicked him. You should be able to rejoin. Shouldn't be any issues because it's old school qualifying. So hopefully Matty Rudd can get himself back into the lobby. That's Alan 1 who's just in there as well. Jano's going... I can't explain that. I cannot explain what is going on with Jano's car, but we'll come away from it. But yeah, Bruce Lee just warming his tyres, getting himself prepared, making sure the car's all ready to go. Gibb saying more pit glitches. This lobby's having a few issues. Unfortunately, P. Gibb must be infuriated with what's going on at the moment. So a few cars stuck in the grids, Jano especially, going round and round. Matty Rudd has rejoined the room, so that's good to see. So Bruce Lee swings out of Sterling's. Hopefully he'll be able to crack on with no concerns. Vortex Racing just behind him. Got a podium a few seasons ago in Season 2 did Vortex, so hopefully he can continue with that form. There's Dominator coming towards the line, and Jordan has gone off, I believe, just to stop at Sterling's, just to make sure he's not in anybody's way. So let's see how the drivers get on. Just watching Hirakram go around at the moment as he just comes towards the final corner at Clark Curve. So Hirakram comes off to start his first flying lap. JPH just giving Jano some advice, seeing if he can exit and come back in. Alan is out as well. He hasn't quite got the livery on that he needs, but he's joined the championship for the first time. His debut tonight, the Austrian driver, so hopefully he can get through the races with a good bit of speed, good turn of pace. That's what it's all about, and have all the glitches sorted out for next week. But now we can finally ride on board with JPH 99 for a proper, hopefully proper full lap of Brands Hatch GP. So Jordan comes towards the line now to start his first lap, up to 136 mile an hour. He went up to 6th gear as he brakes, chucks it in 4th gear through Paddock Hill Bend. Nicely done, just runs slightly over the Astro, then on the brakes again down into what will be 2nd gear for Druids. Keeps the car nice and tight and had nice partial throttle application coming out of it. Then he has the little kink towards Graham Hill. 3rd gear can be quite tricky this corner, but Jordan has held it nicely. I'm going to refer to JPH as Jordan on this quali run. And as we come down in the brakes into 3rd gear for Surtees. 3rd gear, got to keep the car tucked in nicely. Jordan just touch wide, but he won't have lost too much time at all on that lap as Bruce Lee currently sets the pace of those that have crossed the line. Then up towards the next completely blind right-hander going through Hawthorns. 4th gear, the little moment underneath the ridge where it's blind. Down on the brakes again into 3rd gear for Jordan, electing to go through Westfield. And you've got this dip down below towards Sheen Curve, up into 5th gear, down on the brakes into 4th, clips the inside curve, giving a lot of space to the outside, and then braking again into Sterling's. 3rd gear, nicely done from Jordan. Kept a wide berth of the grass, just wanted to set an open air lap as he comes towards Clark Curve for the first time of asking. Flicks the car through in 4th gear, and we'll run towards the line. What is the lap time then from JPH 99, it's going to be a 127 flat. So he puts himself in 8th for time being. Dominator currently in 9th. Matty Rudd, Pete Gibb, and obviously Jainho yet to set a lap time. So Jainho will be waiting to come back in. But Bruce Lee currently pole, a 24.9. He's a thousandth of a second in front of Vortex Racing. That's fantastically close. Hirakram, the man on form this season, has a bit of work to do. He's 3/10 up on his best lap time so far. Still not going to be enough to get in provisional pole. And let's probably tell you a fact shortly when Hirakram comes around this final corner at Clark's. Here he comes, swings the car through, runs as far wide on the right hand line there. Just about got away with it. Let's see what he does in terms of his lap time. It's going to be close. It's a 25 flat, so the top 3 covered by a 10th of a second. But Bruce Lee has won in the Renault Mégane Trophy. Oh, Hirakram's just about gone off the circuit. He's held it somehow. Great car control. Pete Gibb up to P1. Fantastic effort from the Steel Seal driver. That is superb. So the top 4 covered by just 2.5 tenths. That's a fantastic effort from the Steel Seal driver. Really good effort. Really strong effort from P. Gibb. I was about to say that Bruce Lee and Vortex Racing, they have form around this circuit. Bruce Lee has won around this track in the Renault Méganes ahead of Hirakram and fended them off for most of the race, so he's certainly got the ability, and Vortex has got a podium, so these two have the form. But P. Gibb right now in pole. So what about Bruce? Can he improve? He's not going to on this lap, and Vortex went past him, so maybe a mistake from those two. Let's go back to Hirakram. Still a ways away from the track. What about Martin? Currently sat in 6th as Matty Rudd moves up to 5th. See what lap time he can set. It's a 25.5. Just sat happily in 6th place for the time being. As Dominator comes through, there's Duskiver. KZ2 Haas. I've just noticed as well, of course, one driver who isn't in for tonight's race is the man in 2nd place in the championship, Ruddo 24, unfortunately. So points lost for him in the championship. Whether he can bounce back, we'll soon find out with those drop scores. P. Gibb comes towards the line, no improvement. Jainho, Vortex is burnt fry, so you'll know burnt fry. Everybody does. Matty Rudd there just in 5th place with his 2nd lap that he's been able to set. Yeah, Ruddo, it is burnt fry indeed. Martin in 6th place, then a bit of a gap to Dominator, but he's just outside of a second of P. Gibb's pole position time. That's encouraging for those that went from lobby 2 to lobby 1. That includes Duskiver, of course, and KZ2 Haas. But they're not too far away from the pace. They're outscoring JPH currently in terms of the qualifying standings. There's KZ2 Haas, and there's Alan as well, or Aline, if you wish to call him, the Austrian driver. He's in 11th, just 1.5 back, so very competitive so far, and he's opening 7.5 minutes. Ooh, Gibbs taking an alternative line coming out of Westfield there. I've not seen that one before. Bruce Lee and Vortex just following each other around at the moment, tracking each other in terms of pace. No wonder they're only 1,000th away from one another. Everybody is waiting now for this lap to come from Hirakram, and it's still not quite there. Still not quite there for the main man. The drivers, though, they still have enough time for at least 1 lap. Hirakram should have enough time to do 2 laps, so certainly not out of the question that the Joyce Design driver can improve. And that is the focus we're having at this present time. I just noticed it then as well, just come back through as Hirakram goes even quicker. That's a purple sector in sector 2. Great effort from this man, Duskiver. He was really showing form in the 2nd race last week. Really seemed to be keeping on to the pack, and that's a fabulous effort on a 25.2. Just 4 tenths off Gibb. He's coming round now. Let's keep with him as he tracks towards Paddock Hill Bend. He doesn't improve on this lap. That's a very good effort from the ITG driver. Heracram then. I'll go on roof cam with him as he comes around the final corner at Clark's. He's right to the edge of the curb. And this is going to be potentially an improvement. Let's see his lap time as he comes toward the line. He only goes third. So he'll have one more shot at it. A 24.8, and he's run wide at Paddock Hill. So the hashtag Gibbo for pole could be on here. And what a turn up that would be. Oh, and Gibb has decided that's that for him. Obviously, as lobby host, he's got to tell everyone when that 10-minute timer ticks over. Excuse me. Bruce Lee on his final lap, Matty Rudd on his final lap as well. So Matty Rudd will be the first to see the... Oh, as I say that, Matty Rudd gets it wrong out of Sheen, and Bruce Lee has scuppered his lap. There's another driver in the mix of all that. That's KZ2 Haas, who's got a penalty as well. So the front three cars that would have seen a checkered flag first, they are not going to improve on their lap times. So Duskiver will be the first to do so. Oh, Duskiver didn't really know where to go there. It wasn't helpful. Will he improve as he comes towards the line? He doesn't. But still a really good effort. What about Heracram? Will he improve? I know there's another car between him and the finish line. See if there's any changes. Dominator up to 7th, JPH in 8th. A good efforts from those two. Heracram, will he improve? He doesn't. Anyone else on a qualifying lap? Vortex is just coming towards the line. So it's P. Gibb 92 on pole position. A fantastic effort. Really brilliant performance for P. Gibb. Bruce Lee will line up in second. There's Heracram in third. Vortex will complete the second row. Duskiver, fabulous effort in fifth. Martin bounced back there to take sixth in the end. Matty Rudd 7th. DMK Dominator in 8th. Jordan happy with 9th. In terms of those are his first laps. There's KZ2 Haas in 10th place right the way down there. And just coming round the final corner, Alan in 11th. Now, Jainho obviously has had issues trying to get back in. So we wait to see whether we will stay in this lobby or we'll change to another one. Heracram's just saying he had no order, no rhythm, no vibe. This is going to be a fascinating race. Let's see how the drivers get on as we wait for a decision to be made in terms of who's going to be where. I also have a note of the drivers' standings in any case, just in case we lose out on them. So if that needs to be distributed, it can be. Martin just stopped out on track. But what an effort for Gibbo. That's a really good effort from him. Jordan just trying to give some support to Gibb there. As Haas does some donuts. So another setup with the lobby. We just have to show a little bit of patience while we get the first race of the night underway. And Gibbo probably right now will be a little bit more preoccupied with with making sure that the lobby is private and making sure all the settings and the track, or rather grid order, is set correctly. Jainho, obviously with him joining in a little bit later, he'll have to wait in terms of his grid position, so he'll have to go to the back of the grid, but at least he's in for the first race of the night, which is the main aspect. So Gibb has the lobby open, we can rejoin. Gibbs just commented there, just saying, I'm stressed. Yes, hosting can be quite tricky. Yeah, and that's one of the unfortunate things about Gran Turismo Sport with its glitches between lobbies. When you try and change one thing, it changes something else, and then if you change it again, it fixes that, but then decides something else needs to be incorrect, which is really frustrating. You could say a little of it, but Jainho is in, which is very good news. So we'll be able to get matters underway shortly. Just waiting on one more driver to come in the lobby, I believe. So we've got 12 drivers. Yeah, because Matty Rudd obviously needs to get into the lobby, which I believe he has. So qualifying will start, rather not qualifying, the race will start shortly. P. Gibb will be on pole with Bruce Lee alongside in second position. Hirakram, the championship leader, is third. Vortex Racing will start in fourth position. Deskyver will line up on the third row in fifth with Martin alongside him. Matty Rudd in seventh with Dominator in eighth. JPH will be ninth with KZ2 Haas alongside him in 10th. Aline is 11th and Jainho will be 12th. Ruddo has said predictions, Jack. I'm not a man for making predictions. The only thing I can say is that the race will be over once the 20-minute timer is up. That is my prediction. So everyone looks like they're in. So P. Gibb now will be panicking about getting the lobby all ready and set up correctly as the comments come flying in. Thank you for all those who are watching tonight. Of course, if you don't want to miss out on any more Renault Mégane action, do make sure you follow me on Twitch to make sure you stay updated for that. And additionally too, if you're watching this on YouTube where I upload to later on, do give that a subscription as well if you'd be so kind. That would be fantastic. But one thing I will say is we have got a fascinating race about to unfold in front of us. Hirakram not on pole position, a tight and technical circuit with not many overtaking opportunities at the present, so the drivers are going to have to work for this. Any mistakes will be sorely punished, and I sincerely believe we'll have quite a train throughout the circuit as Bruce Lee goes the wrong way through Surtees there. Not quite ideal. Everybody is in. Right, so P. Gibb has sorted the grid out. Fantastic news. Let's crack things off. There we go. The final has been ticked over by P. Gibb. Let's hope this time as well we have the numbers, because they didn't come up last time, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, they do this time around. So here we go then. In for the race. So it's P. Gibb 92 on pole position for the first time this season on the left hand side in that yellow and white steel seal car. Bruce Lee Harden on your right hand side of the screen, the green and white capper. Watch out for Hirakram and Vortex Racing around this circuit. We've got 20 minutes on the right hand side, and hopefully here come the numbers. And the race is live from Brands Hatch GP. It looks like a really good start from P. Gibb 92. He's going to get himself into the lead at turn 1. Looks like there's a challenge going on from Marcello 9. He's got off the circuit at turn 1. He just went a bit too wide and off he went into the gravel trap. Unfortunate for him, we've got a car at the back that's not launched off the line. There's KZ2 Haas. Dominator's stuck on the grid. Not sure what's happened to him, but P. Gibb has the race lead. It's Bruce Lee in second, Hirakram third. Look at Vortex Racing. He's gone backwards. Matty Rudd with a fantastic start after being in 7th place up to 4th in the opening lap. That's a fabulous effort from that Zerkatech car. Vortex gone backwards a place. Duskiver holds his position quite well in 6th. JPH up 2. Aline having a great start. He's up to 8th place. Wonderful effort. Here comes Gibb now under pressure from the former race winner on his track. Oh, good defending from P. Gibb. Bruce Lee trying to shoot to the outside line. Let's try and get the camera angles. We desperately need them. A warning to the drivers, hopefully, that they'll realise car stuck on grid. In fact, I'm going to do a warning if we can do it in time. See if we can do it quick enough. Just so everybody knows, car on grid. But in any case, P. Gibb leading the way. And that's good news. They've managed to avoid it. So far, so good. Matty Rudd there Everyone else comes clean through the other side, so no issues there. Martin recovering in 10th place. Haas, not sure what happened to him. Don't know why he didn't get off the start. Dominator having some issues, but Hirakram's got himself past Bruce Lee Harding. Bit of rubbing going through turn 2, and Bruce Lee just about holds on. KZ2 Haas just commenting 2 of us stuck on the grid. So Haas has managed to get himself underway again, but that's really annoying that the glitch has cheaped out on Dominator. He had a good qualifying, but he's a bit further back. So Hirakram in 3rd, Matty Rudd trying to defend from the inside line on Vortex Racing. Vortex just trying to look through if he can, but no move on so far. The front 3 just a little bit ahead at the moment. These 2 don't want to fight too hard. Great effort from Aline in 6th place, the Austrian driver, doing really well at the moment. Up from 12th on the grid, or rather 11th. Jainho, after starting at the back, he's in 7th position. There's JPH in 8th. Martin's just latched himself onto the back of the Power Max car in 9th. And Deskyver and KZ2 Haas not too far away. So I think Deskyver, unfortunately, has made a mistake somewhere. But there is Dominator, sadly, stuck on the grid. Look at Bruce Lee trying to make a move potentially. He's going to try and go around the outside line, going into Paddock Hill Bend. A little bit of contact between the 2 as it go through turn 1. Bruce Lee conscious of the fact that, look at the chance he's got up the inside now. Bruce Lee, can he brake a little bit later? He brakes earlier. Hirakram sniffs a position. Good defensive driving and offensive driving from Bruce Lee Harding. They just stay in formation for now, but that's going to bring Matty Rudd and Vortex Racing back into the mix. And look at the inside for Bruce Lee's all on the curb. Hirakram just needs to pick his position, but he couldn't quite get on the throttle. They're almost going to try and make it 3 wide. I don't think he's going to pull that off, and sure enough, he filters back in. Matty Rudd with a great run. Hirakram going to have to go defensive as they come towards Hawthorns for the 3rd time. They just about get through as Matty Rudd tries to go around the outside. No move for the purple car there. What about Vortex? Can he go up the inside? Look at Hirakram trying to make a move. So 5 cars fighting for the lead as Vortex tries to capitalise. Oh, there's a bit of contact between himself and Matty Rudd. Good driving from Vortex to keep it on the circuit. Matty Rudd got to be a bit more aware on that one, as he almost forced Vortex off the circuit. And Jainho is having an absolute mission in the fast car, up to 6th place. He's only 1.4 away from the leading pack after starting in 12th. Great effort from him. The Dominator's decided to retire into the pits. It's a shame for him. But Bruce Lee Harding leads the way now. Whilst all that was kicking off, got past P. Gibb. And Bruce Lee would love a race victory. Hirakram now trying to go around the outside of our pole sitter at Druids, but Gibb just forces him wide, as he's entitled to do. Vortex goes around the outside of Matty Rudd. I think Matty Rudd had a penalty, and Vortex took full opportunity. He's up to 4th, and Jainho's right there for 6th place. Aline and JPH and Martin are close together on circuit. A quarter of this race gone so far. It's been fantastic to watch, and it's sort of split into a few different sets of drivers now. Oh, look at Matty Rudd trying to make a move at the inside at Hawthorns. That was close. Almost contact between the 2. But Matty Rudd stays in 5th place and lost a bit of momentum as a result of his little look into Hawthorns. Aline showing well in his first race. Could be Aline, could be Alan. Gonna say it as I see it. JPH has his indicator on. Definitely not going to go right around the left-hand corner. He's in 8th place currently. Martin's gone backwards, so a mistake from Martin. Duskiver, Haas, they round out the bottom of the field, but they're having a good race themselves. Gibbs on the back. What's happened to Hirakram? Down to 5th place. Championship leader in peril. Here comes Aline, defending on the inside from JPH. Good defensive blocking from the Austrian driver. JPH trying to look to the inside, but he's not going to quite get through. Very good defensive driving, but Hirakram obviously making a mistake somewhere, pushing hard. I suspect he's done it through Sheen Curve, but a rare mistake from the champion. Finds himself down in 5th under pressure from Jainho. Bruce Lee though leading the way. The front two have the track to themselves. They've got a nice 1.2 second buffer over Vortex Racing and Matty Rudd, who are now fighting for a podium position. Gibb having done the fastest lap last time around, just half a second separating the front two. P. Gibb never having won a race before, let it be known. Still searching for that first race win. Can today be the time for him? Soon find out. Vortex is there. Janio's latched himself onto the back of Hirakam, which is arguably probably one of the best places to be on circuit. He's got a great run, in fact. Hirakam just puts his car in the middle of the road to stop anyone from getting past, namely Janio. Alain's still keeping JPH behind as they come out of the final corner at Clark's. Martin, Deskyver, Haas, they're just on their own at the moment. But Bruce Lee just gapped P. Gibb on that last lap. But still not much between them. The pressure still ramping up on Bruce Lee, looking for another race victory to add to his tally. Bruce Lee, he has won races before, but he hasn't won since season 3. Has that Kappa driver. Last time he won was at Suzuka East for Bruce. But he's hoping to add another victory to his long-awaited tally. Gibb, though, hoping to break his account. Vortex doing a personal best last lap. So, good effort from him. Matty Rudd just pushing the limits of the track there. Jordan has got past Alain for 7th place. We did miss that. Oh, Martin JL09 flew off the circuit. He tries to rejoin in front of Deskyver. A little bit clumsy from Martin. Oh, it's all gone wrong for Martin. He's into the wall. He had a little bit of opposite lock, and Deskyver didn't really have anywhere to go, and Martin drops to the back. And that might be his race for him, but hopefully he can bounce back in race 2 on the reverse grid. Another new personal and fastest lap from P. Gibb. He knows the race win is right there in front of him. There aren't going to be as many greater opportunities as tonight to get a race win, with Ruddo out of the runnings for today's event and Hirakam being down in 5th, seemingly a little out of sorts at the moment. He's still got to try and get past Matty Rudd and Vortex Racing. Vortex Racing, I've noticed a few times now coming through Surtees, taking a very wide approach to the corner and squaring it up as much as he can coming out of the exit. See, you can take a number of different lines through Surtees, but I've not seen anyone go as wide as the Motor Drive participant currently. But Matty Rudd under pressure from the champion. Let's ride on board on the hood camera, or the bonnet camera I should say. Fastest lap from Hirakam last time out. Oh, Matty Rudd's gone wide at Sheen Curve, and that's all that Hirakam needed. Dominator's just having a few issues trying to get into the room. But Hirakam up to 4th place. A mistake from Matty Rudd. Finds himself down in 5th. There's Janio in 6th. So Janio's dropped off. A little bit of a mistake somewhere on track. There's JPH. Alain, he hasn't dropped Alain. Good effort. Really good debut so far from Alain. Deskyver 9th. Haas 10th. There's Martin in 11th. But this is where the fight is truly at the moment. Bruce Lee Hardin, we know he's good at his defensive driving. It's one of his stronger points in terms of his racecraft. Oh, as I say that, he goes sideways through Graham Hill. Just makes that gap between themselves close even more. Look at the space of the tarmac. There's not much left there between the two. You can see Bruce Lee has a much more rearward brake bias than P. Gibb. You can see with the car's behaviour, the way that the tail kicks out a little bit when he's under the brakes. Just helping Bruce Lee have enough momentum. P. Gibb closing the gap, but won't be close enough for an attack into Hawthorns. See, he just runs up on the curb a little bit. P. Gibb just tracking him currently. But good racing so far from Lobby 1. It's been entertaining. They're through Sheen Curve. Both of them just giving it enough of a wide berth than they need to. Vortex can see this going on, but he's got to run his own race at the moment. His first race of the season for Vortex. A podium to start his championship campaign off would be a good effort for him. There's Hirakam just in 4th position. Seems to be a little bit in and out of the lap times, as you can see on the right hand side. Let's see what this one is on the champion. A 25.2, so he's just not finding his usual rhythm. It's Hirakram as Gibbo goes wide. He just about held that. I just saw it as he came out of Paddock Hill Bend. He ran onto the gravel. He just held the car. Heart in mouth stuff for the man running in second. He held onto it. Bruce Lee didn't get the best exit either. I think he ran through the gravel too, but wasn't as wild out the corner as the Steel Seal driver. Gibbo lives to fight another day. Less than half this race to go now. Vortex closes the gap as a result, just a little bit. Rest of the field relatively spread out apart from JPH and Aline. Not quite close enough for any movements in terms of position at the moment. So we'll cut back to the fight for first. And I will just keep an eye on that gap between JPH and Aline, just in case. But P. Gibb, he'll need to take the rest of the lap realistically, just to settle himself back down and then attack again. See what he can do. 7 minutes to go. Just a little bit wide through Clark curb, right on the gravel. And he just about gets away with it. Little mistakes just creeping in. And that's all that Bruce Lee wants. More mistakes. He'll take them every day of the week if he can just keep himself clear of the rest of the pack. He's happy for more mistakes of the drivers behind. Vortex Racing starting to come under threat from Hirakram. He did a 24.7 that time round as opposed to Vortex's 25.5. So Hirakram not out of the podium hunt at all. Less than a second down from the Motor Drive sponsored car. Let's have a quick look back to see where JPH and Aline are. There's a gap now. I think Aline made a mistake on that last lap, so JPH just needs to keep his concentration. And Gibbo pushing as hard as he dares. There's Vortex just coming in through Hawthorns. Hirakram there in fourth. Gap's just stabilised between the top two. About half a second. Ruddo putting a comment in for all P. Gibb fans there. Gibb just watching the different lines between the two. Bruce Lee just clipping the inside of the grass there. Gave him a bit of a extra boost coming out the corner in terms of the gap, and he's actually just gone out a little bit quicker. Gibbo keeping it tighter though. Coming through turn one. Less than half a second between the two. Gibb tends to close up in the first sector, I've noticed a few times. And then Bruce is very strong in sector 2. And that's a lot closer now than it has been. And speaking of which, third place battle is even closer now because Hirakram can sense a podium. He's got a very good run actually, has Hirakram on the back of Vortex. Vortex instantly covers the inside line. Vortex not giving any opportunity to try and do the switch underneath. He's going to have to try and go around the outside at Hawthorns. Probably not going to happen. Is there going to be an opportunity for cutback? Not quite. Vortex covers that off. Ooh, just clipped the curb, did Hirakram. Funny comment from Ruddo there. Championship rival, of course. But Vortex keeps the champion behind him for the time being. Gibb will be looking. He knows he's got 4 seconds to Vortex behind. He's got a chance to attack now. This is where the mentality comes into effect. The driver behind, those that are seeking that first ever race victory. That's where they've got to find the balance between pushing and being able to keep it on circuit. And he's doing it again. He's putting the pressure on Bruce Lee. Bruce just taking a little bit of a tighter inside line coming out of Paddock Hill. Didn't need to defend, but that's the mentality that P. Gibb needs to take now. It's Vortex still holding off Hirakram. Just watching that gap further up the road as they come through Surtees for what will be the 12th time. Vortex doing a sterling job so far of keeping a defending champion behind him. Gibb looking to make an opportunity further up the road. We could see it from here, but not quite as close as Hirakam is. Hirakam trying to go around the outside again at Hawthorns, but Vortex wise to it and plants his car right in the middle of the circuit. Good driving from Vortex. He's just run a little bit wide. He's just kept it on the road. Hirakam couldn't find an opportunity to get past. I thought Vortex was going off the circuit then, but he's feeling that pressure now. Oh, and he's gone wide again. Hirakam trying every which way possible. I said earlier, this is a very difficult circuit to overtake on. Vortex runs wide again. Will he cut to the inside? He does. Now he closes the door completely, forces Hirakam to the outside line, and then comes back and just stops Hirakam from turning when he wants to, and that's really good defensive driving from Vortex. On the outside line, tries to go around the outside of Druids. It's really difficult to do that in these Méganes. Enough time for this lap and one more, so this is the penultimate lap now. Rest of the positions look relatively settled. Here comes Hirakam. This is the chance he needs. Vortex lets him through. He tries to do the switch back, but he's not going to get the run out the corner. And Hirakam's pressure pays off. He takes third place away from Vortex. It was a good staunch defence. Oh, look at this. An opportunity for P. Gibb. Trying to go around the outside at Hawthorns. Can't get through. Bruce Lee covers the inside well. He just got the car stopped in time to cover that inside line for the switchback. But Bruce Lee knows he's got to hold on. It's going to be very close actually as to whether we get another lap or maybe even two for these two fighting out in front. Hirakam has already set about siving into that gap. So at the front, there's another battle going out on circuit. Yeah, it's between Aline and Duskiver for 9th place. We'll just have a cut back to that. So here we come round the final corner then. Let's see how much time they've got as they cross the line. Oh, I think they might just have enough time, these two, for another lap after this one. Hirakam's certainly on his final lap, as is Vortex and everyone else behind. Matty Rudd, Jainho, JPH having lonely races now for the rest of it. Aline just needs to keep himself in the concentration zone. Really needs to be. That's exactly what he needs to do. If he keep concentrating, keep himself in that rhythm, he should bring himself home into 8th position. Cut back to the leading duo though, because they are fighting tooth and nail for this race victory. Now Bruce Lee, very canny driver, will know that it's close to the time in terms of whether he'll get another lap or not. He'll want to try and finish this race as soon as possible, so don't be surprised to see Bruce being just a little bit slower than normal, just trying to tick that time over. Matty Rudd's up to 4th. We've lost. What's happened to Vortex? Oh, he's gone off the track. And I think Aline's going to get him before we get to turn. No, he's not going to quite make it. It's going to slot him behind. That promotes everyone else up a spot. That's a shame for Vortex. He drove well through this race. Well, the final lap just makes a mistake. So here we go then. One final corner left. Time on the right hand side. You watch that for now. 10 seconds to go. Will they make it to the line for one last lap? It's going to be exceptionally close. Bruce Lee's going to come towards the line. Will he take the race win? No, he doesn't. There's one more lap to go. So Hirakam sees the checkered flag for 3rd place. Matty Rudd will be 4th. Jainho 5th. JPH in 6th, but will ride on board with P. Gibb. This is his only opportunity. He can throw the biggest lunge into any corner he likes. He doesn't have any pressure from behind. Everyone else has finished. Aline's got up to 7th, by the way, just at the line. Vortex slows down, finishes 8th place. But P. Gibb, this is his one chance that he's going to have to throw it all on the line and not have any consequences. Hirakam just putting a comment there saying heck. But Bruce Lee extremely defensive going towards Hawthorns. Hirakam not quite close enough. A lot of support for Gibbo. They all want him to get a race win, but we know how good Bruce Lee is defensively. They clip the car through the approach towards Sheen Curve. Oh, look how late here he was in terms of his speed carrying. P. Gibb was fantastic. Bruce Lee goes a little bit wide. He's going to have to go defensive for the final corner. Bruce Lee goes to the inside. Here comes Gibb to the outside. Bruce Lee just sets it up, but he shuts the door, and it's going to be Bruce Lee Harding, a masterclass in defensive driving, takes his first win since season 3. It's a valiant effort from Gibb to finish in second. What a great race. In the end, absolutely fabulous. It's Bruce Lee Harding who takes his first win since season 3 at Suzuka. Great result for him. Second goes to Gibb. He tried, he nearly got past, but not quite to be for the Steel Seal car. He comes home in second place with Hirakram rounding out the podium. So there you go, the top 3. It will be KZ2 Haas on pole position for the reverse grid, with Martin JL09 second alongside him. So they'll have a little breather for the time being. Dominator gutted not to race in the end. But what a fabulous race that was. Really good action. And 5 minutes now between here and the break. I'm also going to just have a little bit of a breather. And Duskiver just making a comment about the incident we saw with Martin. It was really unfortunate. Martin had already sort of lost the back end of the car at that point. And Duskiver, innocent party and all of that. Ah, Dominator will be on pole. Right. Well then, Dominator, as a result of his issues with qualifying, will be allowed to start from pole position. So that will be very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing that, which you will be able to do in a few moments' time. If you're watching this on YouTube, just skip ahead by 5 minutes, you'll be fine. Yeah, Vortex just making a comment there saying he was annoyed he spun twice on the last lap. Should have been 4th. Realistically, you were unlucky not to keep 3rd. It was a very good defence against Hirakram, but pressure always tells from a champion. The more experiences like that, the more you'll learn and develop in terms of your skill. Jordan's making a comment there saying he's very happy with 6th place considering it's his first laps for quite some time. Wonderful effort from JPH, has to be said. Yeah, and that's the thing with Gibb. He said it took him a few minutes to get settled and he just couldn't get past Bruce Lee, and that's the thing. Bruce Lee is an exceptionally good defensive driver. We've seen it when he's won races before. He can keep an absolute train of cars behind him. When he finished second in Interlagos last season, he did fantastic keeping everyone behind him there as well. He's a very difficult driver to overtake. He just knows how to place the car, and it's all about upsetting him realistically to get past the driver. And that's what I'm talking about with the mentality when Gibbo was trying to attack. You know, if you want to make that race win, you've got to make those last ditch lunges, those last opportunities. They've got to pay off, and it's really difficult to do when you know that the car in 3rd's only a few seconds behind you. You don't want to risk that. Once you win that first race, that sort of disappears. But hey, it's going to be a fascinating race too. 15 minutes reverse grid with Dominator on pole, with, of course, this time KZ2 Haas line up alongside him. We had that grid last season. We had it 3 times in qualifying last season in Lobby 2. So those two, no stranger to sharing the front row together. So that'll be quite fun to watch. So just hello to all those that are spectating at the moment. I know there's a fair few of you, which is nice to see. If you haven't given us a follow already on Twitch, feel free to do so. It'd be greatly appreciated. If you want to see more Renault Mégane action for the rest of the championship, still 8 rounds and 16 races after tonight's events. So a lot more action to come, and much more in terms of championship positions to be settled in that respect. And of course all these races will be exported over to YouTube, so you can watch that back anytime you like. All the playlists are already in setup for this season. Yeah, driving standards have been very good tonight. No issues so far, but as we know, the reverse grid is always frantic and frenetic, so we've got to be a little bit aware of that for the second race. A lot of people fighting for positions they might not normally find themselves in. The car's just coming out on track. Hopefully Dominator, Genio and obviously Gibb himself will also come out of the pits, just so that they can check for any lobby glitches. Oh, Dominator's saying he's got a pit glitch. As Alan drives out and then comes back in. So Dominator can't get out, so that may be a case of having a quick drive around to make sure that that is all sorted and corrected. It's KZ2 Haas there in 6th position. I would, from Dominator's position, I don't know if he has already done this, but I would check to see if you haven't already restarted Gran Turismo Sport, then potentially try that. Maybe an idea to take, but it does take a bit of time. So Ruddo just putting a comment in there just to say, Vortex to win. So starting on 8th place, it's a very good shout. Sorry, finished 8th in the last race, rather I should say, and he'll have the opportunity to start from, in theory, 4th position on the grid for the reverse race. So that'll be fascinating to see how he gets on there. Just a number of comments coming in as well at the moment. Just waiting for the lobby to be created. Let's just have a quick look at lobby 2. 8 drivers in for lobby 2 tonight. That's good news for their lobby. Just wait for the Gibb to get it sorted. There we go. It's a quick check. Genio saying delete cache to Dominator within GT Sport. Whether that would work for him. Potentially, could do. I believe the way to do that would be to go up here to my menu, I believe, or options, and it's not where I thought it was, so that's not ideal. And it's not there either. Fantastic. The odd thing about the issues that are going on in lobby 1 with the glitches of the lobbies and everything, we never had this when I hosted lobby 2. So yeah, that's interesting to know. Maybe it might be to do with it being the old school qualifying system that's used. That might be the issue with it. Maybe try using the official way. Usually does work with less glitches. I know that it stops people from qualifying, but at the same time it does work. A couple of comments just coming in. Just having a quick look. Martin's talking about that's quite expensive. Not sure why that's so expensive, Martin. A couple of other comments coming in. So Jordan just talking about setting the grid. P Gibb saying Jack for host. No. Rudley just saying hashtag Gibbo for a more sustainable lobby connection. And a couple of others there as well. So hopefully we'll be able to get race 2 started shortly. I would recommend giving it a go for the 3rd race next week. See if that works. Using the official way of doing it, because it never I don't ever remember it glitching out. So it might be one way of trying it. As Martin just goes into the gravel and off at Paddy Hill Bend. Let's hope he doesn't do that during the race. That'd be crucial. Deskyver just circulating. Shame about Deskyver. I know he was running it. He had a good qualifying session, but he just fell back after a mistake early on, and that sort of compromised him. He's got a good chance to set the record straight here in race 2. Does Deskyver. The number 18. Oh, just comes across Haas at the worst possible moment. He'll be starting in, I believe, 3rd on the grid, so he's got a good shot here at potentially coming in. We've lost Aline, unfortunately, so not sure what's happened to him or her, but so hopefully they can rejoin. Martin just laughing there in the comments. Okay, so we're just waiting to see what's going on in terms of what's going to happen with Aline as the driver that we're waiting on. Oh, well, he's gone offline apparently. Well, let's go. In terms of the racing, Aline is offline, so that is that in that respect. So let's get things underway for race 2. Gibbs saying 1 minute to start, no more resets until we need to reset for Gibb. Okay, that was a very quick minute. So the final's begun. Martin has put a PSA in for everyone to say, could you apologise on behalf of me, please? I'll be shocking in this race and don't mean to hold people up. Thanks. I won't apologise. You can do that yourself, Martin. So let's look at the grid then. On the left-hand side, we have Dominator 3 on pole position. KZ2 Haas is 2nd. Martin lines up 3rd with Duskyver in 4th. Vortex in 5th place. Going to be interesting to see how those guys get on. It's 15 minutes on the right-hand side, and because it's the old-fashioned lobby, let's wait for the start to come. And the race is live from Brandt Hatch, and it's all gone horribly wrong. Dominator's not got off the line. Heracram, Matty Rudd, Martin, it's all horribly gone wrong. KZ2 Haas then leads the way, coming out of turn number 1. Unfortunately, just didn't get off the line well. Deskyver is up to 2nd. JPH is in 3rd. Then it's Vortex Racing in 4th position with JNO 5th, Bruce Lee 6th. Gibb is in 7th position. Then there's Heracram. It's Matty Rudd. Martin's gone very deep at Druids. Dominator stuck on the grid, sadly. We're waiting to see what happens in terms of the grid getting off. And Gibb has paused. I suspect we will have a restart. Will this happen? Haas leading the way. These guys at the front, they have no idea that this is going on, but Haas still leads the way. To Skyver in second. There's JPH up on the podium positions. And Gibb calling a restart. And I think, considering what happened, I think that's understandable. Dominator unfortunately just hasn't been able to race tonight, and that's really a shame for him more than anything else. So that's Bruce Lee Harding going round. Everybody exiting then. I think we should happily call for a restart. I don't think there's any problem with that. Unfortunately, a few lobby issues tonight for Lobby 1. Haas and Skyver, they don't want to stop. Gibbs asking JPH to host. So let's see what happens in that respect, whether we do need another lobby or not. So unfortunately, apologies to those that have been watching who are brand new to NXTGEN. This is your first impression. Normally it doesn't happen this way. And Gibb has asked everyone to exit. It's really unfortunate that this happened tonight. Haas asking, we didn't restart last one, why this one? Haas, if you're watching this stream, what I will say is huge crash because of a stalled car on the grid through no one's fault really, which caused all of that. It says 3 cars stuck. I only saw 1 car stuck on the grid. So race cancelled. So hopefully we can start again. So track loading in, getting ready to go again for the second race, for a second restart. I do apologise to all those who were watching the stream before when I said just wait for 5 minutes and you can skip on to race 2. That hasn't quite played out the way we'd hoped. And a few jokes just flying in the chat history on the left hand side there. You can see what Here It Comes put. Janio as well adding to that. Right. Still got another race to do, yeah? So the drivers come out on circuit. Bruce Lee just running around in third position in the interim. So JPH saying this is the final start regardless. So in any respect for the drivers, they've just got to be sharp. If there's any issues on the grid, they've got to work around that. So the drivers hopefully will be aware of that as Bruce Lee Harding decides he's had enough. He wants to go sideways. Couple of comments just flying in. Ruddo just saying I'll be at Croft by the time this is done. I'll be in Sweden by the time this is done. Right. Here we go then. For the second race of the evening. Martin will be starting in third place, of course. There's Dominator on pole position. Martin's going to have to be the first one to react realistically if Dominator doesn't get to the line. Let's see how Haas gets on that outside line. There's 15 minutes on the right hand side and we wait for the lights. And the race is live from Brands Hatch, and Dominator's not off the grid. Everybody just about avoids him, and away they go. So, good clean start this time around. Haas is into the lead at turn 1. It's good news for him. We'll just get that camera angle back. And Gibb has fallen down to 10th place as a result of the start. Martin's gone deep into Druids, so Haas leads the way. Vortex right on the back. Oh, he's sideways coming out of the corner, and Vortex leads. Before we... Oh, a bit of contact between Haas and Vortex. Haas obviously wanting to hang on to that race lead, but that's not going to happen. You can see there's an orange and white motor drive car right in front of him. So Vortex leads the way. Duskiver currently in third. There's Martin battling with Matty Rudd and Hirakram. Where does Hirakram go there? He just about slots in to 6th place as the slipstreaming train begins, and Matty Rudd desperately trying to get on the inside. He can't quite do it. He's going to lose a spot to Hirakram then. He might even lose another spot to JPH. He's on the inside going into Westfield. Oh, bit of contact. That was awkward for JPH. Just about holds on. I'm quite sure what happened there. It seemed really peculiar. Oh, bit of a nudge from Janio into the back of JPH. There's Bruce Lee and P. Gibb. They're going to have to try and find a way through, but Vortex has the lead. Currently P1 at the moment. Haas has managed to just gather himself together. He's in 2nd place, but he's run deep at Clark Curve. Duskiver's opportunity, sees the chance and up to 2nd. Martin's trying to go around the outside as they approach turn 1 for the first time at full speed. Haas has to give room, and he gives too much room because Hirakram's going to go through. Martin's trying to go up the inside. There's a way through the middle. I cannot believe they got through that together. Duskiver's gone deep going into Druids. Haas forces his way back past and into the position. Martin's dropped to 6th place. Duskiver, can he hold off the reigning champion? Vortex is already off and up the road. He needs to get away as quickly as he can. Duskiver is going to brake too early. Gets a helping nudge from Haas, but it's not going to help. And Hirakram is up to 2nd place. Now, the fight for 3rd is on because Matty Rudd took advantage of Martin's misfortune. He's down to 6th. There's JPH, there's Bruce Lee. Janio's a bit further back, and there's P. Gibb in 10th place. Vortex has a 2.2 second advantage currently, and Ruddo, who's watching this race at the moment, oh, there's a bit of shuffling going on. What's happened to Duskiver? He's off. Haas has gone with him. So the two that had qualified in terms of the reverse grid, 2nd and 3rd, are no more. They're down the back of the queue, and Martin, I think Martin's waiting. Is he waiting for Haas or is he waiting for Duskiver? He's waiting for Duskiver, so contact between those two. That's what caused them to go off. Vortex was 2.2 ahead. He's now 1.5. Hirakram is absolutely flying. Matty Rudd up in 3rd place. JPH up to 4th. Boy, would he love to finish there on his return to racing for the first time in a number of months. Bruce Lee, the race winner. He's in 5th position. There's Janio in 6th. Gibb, the race runner-up, is 7th. Duskiver, Martin, they're further back in 8th and 9th. But Hirakram must be thinking his Christmas has come at once, because he now has a free run at the back of Vortex Racing. The gap's less than a second already. Hirakram certainly in the groove for this race. And he's setting another purple sector. Matty Rudd in 3rd position. There's JPH in 4th. He's got his family member just behind him in 5th place. There's Janio right behind Bruce Lee. Oh! That's Hirakram. Hirakram's gone off. He's gone off out of Westfield. Unbelievable. Another mistake from the championship leader. He's gone off coming out of Westfield. And he's down to last position. So Vortex Racing now has a 2-second gap over Matty Rudd. And in 3rd place, would you Adam and Eve it, JPH 99. He hasn't had a podium as Jordan for a number of seasons. Not since season 2 at Suzuka. He'll be desperate to hold on with 10 minutes to go in this race. Bruce Lee, he's in 4th. Gibbs up the inside of Janio for 5th position. That's a good move. Janio slowing down, maybe had a penalty there. And there you could just see over the other side of the circuit, Hirakram going through. Championship leader in peril. KZ2 Haas, Martin all move up as a result, but Hirakram Probably going to have a look at a move for the back of Martin. Now it's damage limitation for Hirakram. Vortex Racing leads the way. And it's Matty Rudd. Then it's JPH. Then it's Bruce Lee. P. Gibb in 5th. So the drivers who finished 1st and 2nd in race 1 up to 4th and 5th. Unbelievable scenes here at Brands Hatch. This has thrown up a huge whirlwind. Haas is up to 6th. So Jainio's gone off as well. Jainio off the circuit, overtaken by Haas. Martin now up to 8th place. Duskiver down to 9th. Hirakram's lost the back end of Martin. It's almost as if the consistency of the drivers has completely gone to custard. What has happened in this race? JPH running in third. There's Bruce Lee. There's P. Gibb. We're going to keep an eye on these three because I suspect they'll Constantina up. Vortex Racing now will be... as Gibb almost goes off the circuit coming out of Paddock Hill Bend. What a firecracker of a race we've had so far. We're not even halfway through race 2, round 2. But Gibb will be sick of the sight of the back of that green and white Mégane. And he's got 8 seconds to the back of KZ2 Haas, so he'll be more inclined, I suspect, to attack the back of Bruce Lee. Here's Haas with Jainio just in behind. That striking blue and orange fast car livery certainly stands out amongst the crowd. He's going to try and go running outside at Surtees. Not quite going to happen there. He's going to look to the outside at Hawthorne's. Bit of strange contact between the two. Front quarter to rear quarter. But he's going to go running outside as Jainio. This is going to be a fabulous move if he pulls it off on the grass as well and he gets through. That's a brilliant overtake from Jainio. A little bit of quality from Jainio shining through up to 6th place. Martin holding on to the back of everyone else. Hirakram, I think, just went off the circuit again. Oh, and that's KZ2 Haas off, and that's Jainio off as well. What has happened in this race? This is incredible. I'm almost lost for words. Hirakram now trying to look at the back of Duskiver. This is for 7th position. The 6th place between Martin and P. Gibb. There are 14 seconds between the front half of the field and the second half of the field. That has never been seen in Lobby 1 before. That is incredible. Here comes Hirakram. He's going to look to the inside. A recovery in Hirakram. Goes up to 7th. I suspect 6th at this present moment. It could be the best he'll aim for. Meanwhile, Bruce Lee has made it onto the back of JPH, who defends to the inside as they approach Hawthorne's for the 6th time of asking. Watch it from P. Gibb's point of view. Oh, JPH runs a little bit wide, covers the inside line. Bruce tries to dart to the outside. JPH just puts his car in the way. Good defensive driving. Here comes P. Gibb looking to the outside as they approach Sheen Curve. Nothing doing so far. These three, like I said earlier, have Constantina together. What an unbelievable race we're having. Here comes Bruce Lee then. He's going to try and look to the outside line. Jordan will have the advantage here. He's on the inside. And he brakes just that little bit later. Can he get the car stopped? He can't quite do it. Bruce Lee gets underneath and he's going to be on the inside for Paddock Hill Bend. Bruce Lee has the advantage here. And look at P. Gibb trying to follow his way through as well. He's trying to go to the outside. A little bit of contact between himself and JPH. Through goes Bruce Lee. Oh, JPH's on the grass. He's gone off into the wall. Just went off at Paddock Hill Bend. He should have enough time to recover. And he does indeed. Because Hirakram's not even coming through Paddock Hill Bend yet. And that's the end of JPH's podium charge. But fortunately for him, he's still got 7 seconds to the pack behind him. So Bruce Lee and P. Gibb now, the closest fight on circuit for the podium, of course. Don't forget Hirakram and Martin and Duskiver relatively close together. Bruce Lee with the fastest lap of the race on a 125.1. Hirakram has been having all sorts of issues. He's in 6th place and he's got 5 minutes left to try and consolidate what will currently be 11 points for his championship advantage. Vortex Racing though has had, he won't be aware of any of all this. In the lead currently running his own race in the number 93. Just needs to keep his pace consistent. Don't go too slowly. You obviously want to protect that lead, but a new fastest lap of the race. He's pushing as hard as he can. Vortex potentially on his way. As Matty Rudd in second place, being caught now by Bruce Lee Harding. A double podium would certainly be very beneficial for Bruce Lee's championship ambitions. And you can't rule him out now, especially after a race win and what's looking like potentially another podium as P-Gib pushes it to the limit coming out of Graham Hill Bend. JPH still running in 5th. There's Hirakram. Duskiver's up to 7th. He's got past Martin, who's just having some form of issues tonight. Not sure what's happening to him. There's Janio right at the back of the grid. He's not had the best of times tonight. It's just not paid off for the number 7. But Bruce Lee still just holding on, doing exactly what he needs to do. But this has been a fantastic race so far. Still 3 minutes 40 to go in this session. Bruce Lee is catching up as P-Gib goes wildly sideways again. It's just allowing Bruce Lee to just relieve himself of the pressure. He is catching Matty Rudd. It's a 1:25.2 that time from Matty Rudd and a 25.2 from Bruce Lee. So he's stopped the progression that Bruce Lee had been making. But he's still got 3 laps, including this one, remaining. Matty Rudd just needs to keep himself in check. Another podium, 2 podiums in the opening 2 rounds would be a really good return for the Zerkotech driver. Be a good position and a good way to keep his, challenge for a top 3 in the standings. Be very beneficial for him. Matty Rudd, another driver not to have won a race in this championship. He had a number of podiums last season. He had 3 podiums to be exact. Bruce Lee is catching him on this lap. It might not just be over yet. He's looking a little bit further back. There's JPH in 5th place, Hirakram in 6th. New fastest lap from Hirakram. He's catching JPH at about a 1.5 seconds per lap. Gap 3.6, so not over yet. That's something to come back to on the final lap of the race. Hirakram's going even faster. There's Duskiver and Martin close together. Janio's up to 9th now. Haas down to 10th. Matty Rudd, the gap less than a second. Bruce Lee with a new fastest lap at 24.6 is on the charge that he absolutely needs. Will Hirakram counter that fastest lap? He doesn't. 24.8 in the end. Let's watch on board with Bruce Lee Harding. They'll have one more lap after this one. So penultimate lap for these drivers. I think JPH will have another lap, of course. So a couple of laps remaining for a couple of the cars. Just one more for definitely Duskiver and everyone backwards. Be close between Hirakram and JPH though, whether they get another additional lap on top of the following. Matty Rudd down knows that that gap's closed, and his focus goes from trying to catch Vortex Racing, now returns to defending from Bruce Lee Harding, which is exactly what he had to do last week at the Nürburgring. And the Zerkotech man, look at the gap now down to less than half a second. Bruce Lee absolutely on a charge, and Matty Rudd runs a little bit wide through the final corner. It's going to present an opportunity, this, for Bruce Lee Harding. This is the final lap for these two. Looks to the outside line. Matty Rudd just chops across. Keeps him well out of the way. Ooh, runs a bit wide. Gibbs going to make it through. Here comes Bruce Lee. Looks again at the inside of Druids, but no option for them. So this is the final lap. Vortex Racing just needs to keep it clean. He should be on his way to a first win since season 2. But we're watching and focusing on the battle between Matty Rudd and Bruce Lee, because Bruce Lee's closed that gap now. As they approach Hawthorns, Matty Rudd just goes to the inside line. Bruce Lee, can he really go around the outside? He can't. Can he get underneath on the switchback? He can't quite get there. Good defensive driving from Matty Rudd. Really going to be 2 places left. Oh, but Bruce Lee cuts that corner. That might just give him a penalty, and it does. And that might have just curtailed his efforts. I believe it will do. So we're unfortunately going to be robbed of any opportunity. I'm going to cut forward to Vortex Racing now. He's driven flawlessly. He's been on an absolute charge all the way through. It's a first win of the season then for Vortex Racing 77. Great effort as he hits the wall. Matty Rudd holds on to second position. Bruce Lee slowed very early, but he's going to hold on for third. P. Gibb with fourth. Good haul of points for those two. JPH is going to hold on to fifth position. He's going to be happy with that. He could have been fighting for maybe a podium, but still 5th and 6th on his return to racing. That's a fabulous effort. Hirakram in 6th. What could have been for him? He was in 2nd and he's threw it all away. To Skyver. He's going to finish in 7th. Martin's gone off. So Cheinho's got him on the line. And I think KZ2 Haas is going to get Martin as well. Yes, he is. So Cheinho's up to 8th. Haas 9th. And Martin, what happened at the final corner? He lost it. Unbelievable. And Martin deciding he's had enough. He's going to just reverse over the line. And that caps his evening off. But well done to Vortex Racing 77 for the victory. His first victory in the championship since season 2. I'm going to be very pleased with that. So Vortex there. A race winner again in the Motor Drive car. So that is it for Brands Hatch GP. What a frenetic race that was. Unbelievable consistency in race 1, wonderful fighting, and then race 2 it all went to a different world of driving in terms of consistency. Championship leaders making mistakes, race winners all over the circuit. What a strange day it has been around Brands Hatch GP. Do tune in next week, of course, because we'll be going to round number 3 at Monza. What a circuit that's going to be in the Méganes. The first time we've been there in this championship, I believe. So that's going to be really exciting to watch around what can only be described as a slipstream in heaven. And if you haven't already done so, please make sure you give us a follow on Twitch and as well on YouTube. Make sure you do check out the Facebook page for NXTGEN, as well as the Twitter, the Discord and the website as well. A few issues tonight which we normally don't have, but I'm sure they'll all be resolved ahead of next week's racing. But in any case, thank you very much for watching. It's been appreciative of those that have been watching and commenting all the way along. Thank you for joining us. And wherever you might be in the big wide world, have a good one. See you soon.